a couple of proud Tawa juniors in front. A slightly different build-up to tonight's action, given the dreadful events of Christchurch on Friday. The two teams joining in solidarity, not standing alongside their own teammates and away from each other, but all together. And in the middle there, Andrew Durante, Phoenix skipper, arm around his former teammate, Tarek Elrich.
Ladies and gentlemen, the events in Christchurch on Friday, 15th of March, are an affront to all that we as New Zealanders hold dear: diversity, kindness, and compassion. Many of the people affected by the extreme violence are from our refugee and migrant communities. New Zealand is their home. They are us. Please stand as we stand tonight with them and say welcome home.
Tonight I'm feeling for you under the state of a strange land. You were sacrificed much to be here. Therefore, grace as I offer my hand. Welcome home. I bid you welcome. I bid you welcome.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Impeccably observed and particularly poignant for Tarek Elrich, a devout Muslim who must be feeling a very personal internal mix of pain and grief tonight. To all those affected by the vile, evil, unthinkable acts of Friday, many of who had strong ties to the football community, most of us cannot even begin to imagine what you're going through. Our hearts ache for you, but we stand beside you, and our thoughts and prayers are with you. To the football, 3 changes to the Western Sydney Wanderers formation. Mortakutis, Bacchus and Majok, all with the Australian under-23s. In come Tate Russell, Giancarlo Galifuoco and Raul Luente. There are potential debuts off the bench for Andrea Agamemnonos and Daniel Wilmering. Tarek Elrich continues his record of starting every game this season, the only Wanderer to do that. This is A-League game 268 for him, putting him behind only Lee Broxham, Nikolai Topor-Stanley and Andrew Durante among outfield players in the competition's history. Just the one change to the Wellington side that beat Central Coast 8-2 a week ago. Alex Rufer returns from suspension, replacing the now suspended Sarpreet Singh. Stephen Taylor again absent with a calf injury, so Anthony Gollick deputises again. New dad, Mandy, has been a key cog in the Phoenix's engine room, playing more passes than anyone else on the side. He reunites tonight with Alex Rufer in midfield, a combination which has rarely borne fruit this season. Marcus Marcus Babbel has been shorn of playing resources by injury and international call-ups. He said this week that losing players to international duty outside an official FIFA window is something he's never had to deal with as a coach before. In fact, he said it was a disaster for his side. Away we go in Wellington, these two going head-to-head for the 21st time. The Wanderers have won 10 of the previous 20. In fact, the Phoenix looking for back-to-back wins over the Wanderers for the first time since 2014. Western Sydney on their best run of the season. 3 wins in their last 4, 10 points from 12, and starting to hit the net as well. 10 goals in their last 4 games. Speaking of goals, the Phoenix fresh from scoring a club record 8 against the Mariners last weekend. All to play for, really, for both sides, Fred. The Wanderers still think they're in this. The Phoenix pushing towards what they hope will be a top 4 finish.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix with, you know, they're in a really good position. They've put themselves in a really good position for that top 4. They're leading that pack sitting behind the front 3. And with a really good performance tonight, they'll give themselves some daylight between them and both Adelaide and Melbourne City, although Melbourne City still have to play later on this evening. Be interesting to see the battle in the midfield. As we talked about, Piney, Rolly Bonavacia is sort of looking like he's playing in a central role, a more central role than what the formation we were given. I think that's his best position. You got to have him in the middle of the park, getting on the ball, getting a lot of touches. And as we saw last week in their 4-1 victory over the Brisbane Roar, he certainly has an eye for goal, and he's been scoring with real consistency over recent weeks.
A couple of new faces to Wellington. Giancarlo Gallifuoco in midfield for Western Sydney. Mitch Duke hasn't been here for a while, as you mentioned, but others are familiar. Rolly Bonavacia, of course, a cult hero during his time here. 80 games across 3 seasons, 14 goals, only missed 2 games in his 3 seasons here. Hugely popular and in a really rich vein of form, Rolly Bonavacia for the Wanderers recently, coinciding with their excellent recent run of results. Here is Bonavacia with his first involvement. Rufer quick to seize upon him. Durante. He sees Krishna off on a run, tries to slide in. Roy Krishna, can he get the other side? He can't. And a shove in the back it was from Roy Krishna on Tarek Elrich, first foul of the evening.
Yeah, Elrich does well here. He knows he's got Roy Krishna breathing down his neck. He just lays the ball back to Vedran Janjetovic, who clears, but you can see just a little tap on his ankle by Krishna. Good battle that'll be. 2 real speedsters there. A lot of interest in how Max Burgess goes this evening, coming in for the suspended Sarpreet Singh. You see Max Burgess right in the centre of your picture there, number 23. And he had a really good game last week, put his hand up for inclusion to play in that number 10 role for the Phoenix tonight, and he'll be looking for a really big performance to stake a claim to stay there.
Yeah, slightly different role this week with Sarpreet Singh out of the side. He'll look at that number 10 role in between the lines. Last week he deputised for Alex Rufer alongside Mandi, with Singh still in the side. So yeah, Mark Rudan said at the media session yesterday that Max Burgess has become a proper A-League player. He said he never had any doubt that he was. He spent a lot of time coming off the bench, but now he's been given an opportunity. Max Burgess, and taking it with both hands. The ball to play in. Roy Krishna for the 4th goal last week was a beauty. There is Sarpreet Singh alongside Justin Gully. Tom Doyle there as well. Not available today. Singh suspended. Gully, I think, played for the reserve side today, so good to see him back into things. Tom Doyle is still a wee way away with injury. So on the bench, a couple of teenagers, Callan Elliott and Gianni Stensonis, who we saw off the bench against the Mariners last weekend on debut. No place in the matchday squad for Nathan Burns today. Burgess can't quite get on the end of that one. Here's Brendan Hamill. bit of a mainstay in Western Sydney Wanderers rearguard this season. Williams nips in, Kakachi finally broke his duck last week and scored a goal. It's a lofted back pass by Mandy over about 50 yards to Curto, who brings it down no problem. Burgess is very busy early. Krishna's dropped in to get that one. Now Mandy. Referee saw a foul but allowed play to go on. Krishna shrugging off the attention of Mahazi. Burgess again. Phoenix starting to get a bit of rhythm going early.
A nice phase of passing by the Phoenix. Is comfortable in possession. I think West Sydney Wanderers not really putting Phoenix under too much pressure. High up the pitch, I think they're happy just to sit back. And as the Phoenix come just around the halfway line, the pressure really goes on.
There's Mark Rodan. He's wearing the white flower tonight. The players are wearing the black armbands, but because Mark Rodan wears predominantly black on the sideline, he wanted something that would show out. Not a black armband for him, a white rose on the lapel of Mark Rodan. Let's go sideline to Harry Nata. This pitch has been used for a lot of things since the Phoenix were last here. Harry, how is that turf looking?
Yeah, 51 days, Piney, since the Phoenix last were here at Westpac Stadium. It's not looking too bad, actually. I mean, the ground staff here do a sensational job. Wish that you do this one when Louis Fenton just trying to get after that ball there. But look, pitch is in tip-top shape. It's looking fantastic. Good playing surface. Bit of dew on there, so it's a bit cooler here than it the last couple of times here at Westpac Stadium. So Phoenix have started, I think, particularly well. Good passing movement, have you alluded to before. And nice to see Max Burgess getting some early touches too.
Harry Nutter sideline as per usual tonight. We'll give you a rundown of what's actually been going on here at Westpac Stadium since the Phoenix were last here in a moment. Phoenix on attack though, so we'll stay with the action. Rufa does well to retain it under pressure from Bonavazia. Mandy and Janjetovic able to gather. So since the Phoenix were last here, there have been 2 cricket games between the Black Sticks and India. Te Matatini, a 4-day Kapa Haka festival. For our Australian viewers, that is a Māori performing arts festival. That attracted 30,000 people. The M&M concert, of course, which had 46,500 here. A Hurricane Super Rugby game. And 2 nights ago, Nitro Circus. The turf team has replaced around 1,500 square metres of turf at the northern end. That's to our left and the centre of the field. And while they were doing that, they were also trying to get the Basin Reserve ready for the Black Caps Bangladesh Test match. So it's been a busy old time, and the stadium is in use every weekend now until the end of May. So Shane Harmon, the chief executive here, is well, he could be rubbing his hands together. I've had it suggested to me, but also he'll have a furrowed brow, making sure that everything gets off okay.
Yeah, you can see the areas in the middle of the pitch there where they've replaced the turf, the square patches.
Here's Krishna. Burgess with a chance. Well, that was a great block by Hamill. Max Burgess looking for his first A-League goal. Hamill in the way.
Just at the moment, the Phoenix are just passing through this West Sydney Wanderers side. You see here Roy Krishna gets the ball wide, slides it into Max Burgess. Brendan Hamill falls over. But not enough pressure on the ball carrier by the Wanderers at the moment. And you can see that the Phoenix are just happy passing the ball around. There's no real pressure on them. And it's just all a bit easy for them to play around and through this Wanderers team.
The Phoenix have scored 6 goals in the first 15 minutes of games this season. That's the joint most of any side in the A-League. There's Mitch Duke looking to release Kamau. Golick tries to shove him off the ball, not successful. Here's Kamau, no one ready to aim for. No one gambled at the far post, but Llorente's going to recycle. He's got Bonavazia in the area. Golick gets it away. Bruce Kamau with an early show of what he's capable of down the right. It's the Spaniard Llorente again. This one too close to Curto.
Well, straight away you can see a mismatch there in pace. Anthony Golick up against Bruce Kamau. Kamau just basically ran past him. So Golick needs to make sure he gets his positioning exactly right, because if Kamau gets half a yard on him, then he'll be gone. I saw last week that, you know, Golick, maybe it's a lack of match practice, but he just got caught out a couple of times against the Mariners early in the game by long balls over the top. And strange as it may seem, given the final scoreline, the Mariners actually had a couple of chances early in the game and through because of those long balls. So again, you know, Golick has to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get you know, caught for pace.
Speaking of pace, here is Williams looking to free up Krishna. Foul by Burgess on Mahazi. Rashid Mahazi. He's had a very interesting last couple of years. Took a sabbatical from pro football last year. Spent his time doing all sorts of things. Selling shoes, playing live music at bars, busking, shoveling dirt. Back into professional football with the Wanderers. Here's Krishna. He's got it off Hamill. The arrow is angle is narrow for Krishna, but he puts it in. Well, I couldn't get the words out, but out from under his feet came the ball, and the tribute from Roy Krishna, a la Costa Barbarouses last night. The Phoenix lead 1-0.
Of all the players you do not want to give an opportunity like this to, it's Roy Krishna in this sort of form. Just puts it onto his right foot. Really, really poor pass from Tate Russell. Krishna's away. The fence can't come across quick enough. And Vedran Janjetovic gets a fingertip to it. Not enough to deflect it around the post. And Roy Krishna, a man who's been scoring goals all season for the Phoenix, just chalks up another one. Phoenix are on their way.
15 now for Roy Krishna. He goes to the top of the Golden Boot ladder ahead of Adam Lafondra with 14. He'll have a chance later on tonight to match whatever Krishna does here tonight. But you could see the tribute and the respect being paid by Krishna in the aftermath to that goal. Two of those who died on Friday were Fijians. Krishna's wife is also a practicer of the Muslim faith. Roy Krishna paying his respects, but also placing a dagger into the heart of Western Sydney nice and early. Another goal inside the first 15 minutes for Wellington this season, 7 now. Look at Burgess eating up the ground there. Elrich across and back to Janjetovic it goes. Roy Krishna now just one short of the all-time record for most goals in a season from a Phoenix player. Jeremy Brockie scored 16 goals in 2012-13. Krishna just one short of that now. You'd have to think he's odds on to equal and better that in the remainder of the season, Fred, the way he's playing.
Absolutely, you'd think he'll surpass that, which was a fantastic season by Jeremy Brockie. Some of the goals he scored were just sensational.
Here's Llorente, only Riera forward with him, his countryman. And Louis Fenton doing enough to halt the progress of Raul Llorente. Foul by Golick on Riera. Riera starting to come back into some form for Western Sydney. A brace last week, a really eye-catching 1-2 against Brisbane Roar. Second only to Dimi Petratos in terms of shots taken this season, Riera. 15 goals last season. looking to add to his tally of 8 so far in this campaign. Bonavacia lines it up. Wraps his foot around it. Players all over the place in the penalty area. Hard to see who was doing the pushing and shoving. Galifuoko wins the throw. Quickly to Kamau. Mandi is back. And behind it goes for a corner.
You can see the difference in the defensive effort between the two sides. You see Mandi there, desperate to get back, desperate to put a tackle in. Just a lot more urgency from the team in black and yellow.
Fenton with the header half away. Mandi completes the job. Williams with a neat touch. Krishna. Williams again. Burgess has fallen over in a rather sticky part of the pitch, and Krishna's gone to ground. Referee's seen something.
Well, 2 players went down for the Phoenix here. Max Burgess, who was trying to get forward, and Roy Krishna, who was delivering the pass. See here the challenge after the ball's gone. Not a whole lot on that by the look of it. Krishna just getting collected after he made the pass. Just out of shot there, Max Burgess. I think got tripped up as he crossed the halfway line.
Rufer back in the team after a weekend off last weekend through his 8th yellow card. The yellow card threshold has now gone up to 8 for a 1-game ban. It was 5 up until round 21. We're into round 22 now, so you have to get 8 yellow cards in order to earn the suspension. So that'll please a few of those players who are sitting on 4. Sarpreet Singh, of course, picking up his 5th last weekend. That's why he's sitting out tonight. Lovely little touch to the path of Rufer from Fenton. Fenton continuing his run, gets it from Krishna. Nice from Louis Fenton towards Williams, who can't control. And that, I think, is a great demonstration of what Louis Fenton has done so well this season. Up and down, busting a gut to get on the end of passes, crosses into the box. He's had a really, really impressive season so far.
Yeah, I mean, you can never doubt the work rate that Louis Fenton will put in for the side. And, you know, as you say, Piney, graphic example of that just there.
Given away by Bonavacia. Sorry, Fred. Williams frees up Krishna. Elrich tries to close him down towards Burgess. Touch and shot, is it? He's taking more than one. 2, 3, 4. Burgess behind off Russell for a corner.
And again, the quality in the passing for West Sydney Wanderers is letting them down. That time it was Bonavacia just laying the ball back, misplaced pass, and this was the end result. Max Burgess goes past one, but then the cover defence gets in the way with the block. But they'll concede more goals, the Wanderers, unless they tighten up. I think they're struggling with the 3-4-3 formation that the Phoenix, it's no surprise, that's what they play. So they're just struggling to maintain contact with a lot of the players, especially in the middle of the park. And Mahazi, Galifuoko are just getting overrun in that area.
A slip there as he took the corner by Mandi.
Well, that is the worst part of the ground. The corners are not good. If you just walked over them before the game, they're very bare in those corner areas. A lot of new grass seed put down.
They go short this time. Burgess towards the far stick. Safely dealt with by the Wanderers, and Bonavacia looks to turn defence into attack. Russell's going to have a job to get that in, and can't in front of his own bench. Three players missing for Western Sydney tonight. Tas Mortakutis, Keanu Backus and Abraham Majok, all on international duty with the Australian under-23s. They're on a week-long camp in Kuala Lumpur at the moment. They go to Phnom Penh for their AFC under-23 championship qualification games. They'll play Cambodia, Chinese Taipei and Korea Republic, looking to gain a place at the AFC under-23 champs next year. 16 A-League players in that 24-man squad. We wish them all the best for those games, March 22, 24 and 26. I'm sure, though, that Marcus Babbel would much rather have his players with him. He was quite terse when asked about it during the week, but great for Tas Mortakutis, Keanu Backus and Abraham Majok to be involved. Galifuoko sliding in on Rufer, and he's earned the first yellow card. He protests his innocence and points to the ball, does Giancarlo Galifuoko.
Not sure about this. I think the fact the studs are up, the part of that. Well,
yeah, no contact with Rufer really, was there?
Doesn't touch Rufer at all, takes the ball. I think the fact that he's slid with his studs up has earned him the yellow card. I think Rufer's expecting the challenge, just touched the ball and pulled his foot away.
Well, I can tell you that Max Burgess very much likes the look of this. Sarpreet Singh would normally be in his position if he was on the field with that left foot of his. In his absence, I think Burgess likes this one. Mandy will have perhaps the chance to pull rank through seniority. Burgess would love a first Phoenix goal. Mandy has one at that end earlier this season against Adelaide United. Who's it going to be? It's Mandy. It's in! Janjetovic rooted to the spot. Did not move a muscle. Mandy makes it 2 for the Phoenix.
He took his time over it. That's a beautiful free kick. Look at the bend he manages to get on the ball. Janjetovic, I think he was expecting him to dummy, because there can be probably no other reason why you wouldn't make some sort of move across to try and get across to the ball. And for the Phoenix, they're picking up where they left off last week.
Well, it's quite incredible, isn't it? In round 3, these two teams met on a windy old night in Wellington, and Western Sydney were deserving 3-0 winners that night, and the Phoenix went off on a 3-game losing run, and everybody wondered whether it would be the same old Wellington. Here we are now, and off the back of that 8-2 victory over the Central Coast Mariners, Phoenix's feet are firmly on the ground. They're 2-0 ahead. No Singh, no problem. Mandy did pull rank, obviously, over Max Burgess, who may actually have been playing a pretty good part of a decoy. Got a firm grip on this game already, Harry, for Wellington Phoenix after only a quarter of the contest.
Absolutely, playing 2 great goals, wasn't it? Exquisite free kick from Mandy, and an earlier fantastic world-class finish from Roy Krishna. We've seen a couple of quality finishes from Costa Barbarouses already this weekend as well, so high finishing of the highest quality at the moment. But the other interesting visual here, just standing on the sideline down here, there's been absolutely no movement whatsoever on the Western Sydney Wanderers bench. So Marcus Babbel has been stationary, sitting down for the entire match. Mark Radance has been off his feet, shouting, organising, as we know he always does. So when you talk about I suppose when you talk about the urgency earlier, Fred, I mean, yeah, that sort of translate on the bench as well. We see Rudan off his feet more times than not, but there's been absolutely no movement from the Western Sydney Wanderers bench.
Krishna trying to free up Fenton. Vital intervention on the far side. Yes, the brains trust of Western Sydney Wanderers, Marcus Babbel and JP Di Marini there, looking to try and solve a puzzle that's quickly become apparent for them. Of course, Marcus Babbel wasn't on the sideline in round 3. He was suspended. JP Di Marini took the reins that night and did it pretty well. I watched Marcus Babbel during the week and he was very, very, as I said before, terse, curt, short even about the players he'd lost. I'm not saying that they've given this game away as a foregone conclusion, but as Harry just mentioned there, the urgency doesn't seem to be there quite as apparently as it is for Wellington.
Well, they look very disjointed, and I think, you know, take out three players who've been a key part of the recent run of good form, and that's what happens. And I think Tate Russell playing at right back, he was at fault for the first goal. He gave possession away in the lead up to that free kick, so he's not having the best opening to this match. I think that's an area where the Phoenix can take is let them play out down the right, because at the moment, every time Russell tries to play forward, typically it's going to a Phoenix player. But I think, yeah, it's very disjointed, and there's no, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of heart in the West Sydney Wanderers' performance this evening. And I think Harry makes a good point. That's from the bench as well as on the pitch.
You can see the substitutes behind veteran Jan Jedovic's goal. They've been sent to warm up. Among them, of course, is Alex Baum-Johan. That's not him there, but he is among the substitutes. And Mitch Duke, who's just trying to latch onto this one now, is playing in a rather unfamiliar position of that, well, I guess you'd call it the Baum-Johan role. Mitch Duke is more generally recognised as a out-and-out striker. You just wonder whether Baum-Johan might be introduced into this game sooner rather than later, with the team now 2-0 down and needing something in there. We've hardly called Mitch Duke's name.
Yeah, it's not his game, is it, to get on the ball and, you know, be the guy that's slipping passes through a defensive structure.
Very potent up top though, Fred, and
yeah,
would like to see him there.
Yeah, great when he's running in behind the defence. They scored a fantastic goal last week, long-range effort. But you know, Baum-Johan, Bonavacia, they're the sort of guys that, you know, have the technical ability. And finally, you know, Mark must have heard us. Marcus Babbel up off the bench.
I just saw him gesturing to, yeah, I think they're going to make a change. I think they're going to make a change under half an hour here. There is Alex Baum-Johan. So it looks as though the course of action we were suggesting might actually come to fruition. Alex Baum-Johan there. Be interesting to see who they bring off. I can't imagine it'd be Duke. I think they'll push him forward. Fourth official has been handed the paperwork. We're hearing that it's Tate Russell who's going to make way, so that'll necessitate a bit of a reshuffle at the back. Riera, good save by Curto. Lorente up and over. Well, Riera snuck in behind. Curto palmed away his effort. Lorente, the other Spaniard, blazing it over.
Yeah, lovely run from Bonavacia. The deft touch there from Riera. We saw him score an unbelievable volley last week. This time he gets in front of his marker, and Lorente blazes wide. Had a man on the inside as well. Did Lorente decided to take the shot on. Not really that surprised that Tate Russell is the man to go off. As you say, Piney, they'll reshuffle their midfield. Either go three at the back or drop someone into that right back position.
I think Bruce Kamau played there last week, didn't he? So maybe he's the man who'll drop back, pushing Duke forward perhaps into that wide right position. Baum-Johan to slot into the number 10 surely. He's making his way to halfway. The German now, soon to be introduced. Christian and Elrich with a bit of push and shove. It's off Elrich for a Phoenix throw. And now the change will come. So Tate Russell's evening lasts less than half an hour. Alexander Baum-Johann into the action. He was a goal scorer here in round 3. His first A-League goal, in fact, that night. Hugely influential. Marcus Babbel makes sure that Tate Russell knows it's nothing personal, but at 2-0 down, something had to be done. And the something is that man. Played for some of Germany's biggest clubs. Schalke, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayern Munich, Kaiserslautern, Hertha Berlin. German under-17 and under-21 international. What influence will he have? What are you seeing in terms of formation, Fred, as we see Baum-Johann into the action?
Yeah, it looks like he has slotted into where Mitch Duke was. Mitch Duke pushing a little bit more right, and Bruce Kamau dropping back into the right-back position. Here goes Mitch Duke, and straight away from Baum-Johann, I think the word he's brought out onto the pitch is, we've got to press higher, boys. So the whole, you just saw there, the whole West Sydney Wanderers team just flooding forward. And a little bit more energy in that number 10 position by Alex Baum-Johann. It's a long way back for them, though.
Here's Kamau from his deeper position at right back. Kamau breaking forward. And he line up a shot, Bruce Kamau will free up a teammate. Here is Mitch Duke. Along the carpet and into the grateful hands of Philip Curto.
Well, straight away better from the Wanderers. Does it set up this change does set up an interesting matchup. We spoke very early about the pace of Anthony Golick. Well, now you've got Mitch Duke in that equation. So from a Wanderers perspective, if they can isolate Duke up against Golick, maybe they might get some rewards out of that.
There's Burgess dancing along the penalty area. Clever flick from Rufa to Krishna. Now Williams! David Williams is red hot right now. Another goal for him in what is quickly becoming his best ever A-League campaign. 8 for him, 3 for Wellington. Are they out of sight, Fred?
I think so. I think this is the death knell for the Wanderers this evening. And we've seen David Williams from these sort of positions bending the ball inside this far post. This time he just clips the post on the way through, but it's a favourite spot for him, and he makes absolutely no mistake. 3-0 to Phoenix, and I don't think the Wanderers can come back from here. They may press, but I think there's too much firepower up front from the Phoenix. Mitch Duke goes across to Marcus Babbel to have a word, and there's a lot of frustration in this Wanderers side already.
Well, before last weekend, Wellington had won just 1 of 7. And questions were starting to be asked about the Newcastle Jets approaching them and whether they'd be able to hold their place in the 6. I know there's a long way to go in this game, and Newcastle Jets just about came back from 3-0 down last night, but for a couple of penalty saves at the end. But 8 last week against Central Coast. 3-0 up inside half an hour, just about here. You talk about coming right at the right time with the finals running on. Wellington have timed their run brilliantly, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the urgency in their game. You see their players sliding in to make tackles. Their players pressing really high up the pitch. Just the, a really tight structure at the back, everyone working in unison, and a keeper at the back who makes very few mistakes. And I think that package makes the Phoenix very, very difficult to beat.
On several of the Wellington Phoenix's seasons, David Williams' 8 goals would be enough for the Golden Boot. Of course, he's got Roy Krishna in the team, and he's got a big odds-on favourite for that, and he might not be done yet. Skimming off the head of Elrich. Corner flag keeps it in. Well, it's a mountain to climb for Western Sydney now. Johan's going to have to grab this game by the scruff of the neck and start to make things happen if he's going to have the influence that his team needs.
You saw there the ball, whenever the ball gets passed from the defensive line of the Wanderers into that midfield area, there's a Phoenix player up the back of the guy receiving the ball. We saw at that time Liberato Kikache just really strong in the back, wins the ball, tries to pass the ball straight away through, I think it was to Max Burgess, to initiate the counter-attack. And it's that pressure on the ball going into the midfield that at the moment the Wanderers can't live with.
Max Burgess has been very good. After so many appearances off the bench, as we said before, he finally's got his chance to start games, and he looks busy, he wants the ball. Incisive, decisive passing, Fred.
He's a good footballer. He's got a good football brain on him.
Here's another good footballer, Johan, into the path of Riera. Durante stride for stride, and Kurto can safely pick that one up. Good experienced defending from the skipper, Andrew Durante.
And a lovely through ball that time by Johan. You can see the quality straight away that he possesses, receiving on the half turn, and that opens up his body to then be able to look for those passes in behind. Just that time, Riera showed that as an out-and-out striker, just lacks that yard of pace to be a really, really top quality forward. If that had been Roy Krishna, I think that'd be 3-1.
Rufer frees up Fenton and plenty of room. 4 in the box to aim at. Krishna heads over, Janjetovic uncertain. Krishna couldn't quite get the elevation, which would have allowed him to head that one down.
Good run inside by Max Burgess, just draws Lorente inside a few yards, and then that gives Louis Fenton a whole lot of space to try and find this man, Roy Krishna. Again, the athleticism of Roy Krishna to the fore. There's a tremendous leap on him.
Here's Duke. Looking to link with Kamau. Kikache deals with him easily. Phoenix can't quite clear it, and eventually it'll be a Western Sydney Wanderers throw. Here's Galifuoko. Ball behind Llorente. It's just not coming together for Western Sydney.
Yeah, the timing of the pass and the timing of the run are just all over the place. 2 really clear instances there. One on the right, one on the left, and I'm sure Jean-Paul de Marigny on the right, and Marcus Babbel there on the left will be extremely frustrated with what their side's putting out at the moment.
Riera through on goal there, but the assistant referee's flag was up on this near side. Mark Rule running this near line. Williams earns a Phoenix corner. Quickly taken. Here's Mandy. Kamau back defending. Rufa to Kakachi. Kakachi again. Phoenix players waiting on the edge for a cross that isn't coming. It all broke down rather tamely for Wellington. Johan trying to make an impact. Elrich just about gave it away to Krishna. You don't want to be doing that when there's not a lot of defensive reinforcement behind you. Krishna and Mandy combining, or Fenton rather. Fenton off on that run and then stopped as Krishna played the pass into him. Just a communication breakdown between Louis Fenton and Roy Krishna. Referee looked to see whether that passage of play would result in any Phoenix advantage. It didn't, so he calls them back for the foul. Not too many free kicks for referee Alex King to adjudicate on in the first half. These two are the sides that concede the most fouls, 1 and 2 this season, but just the 6 in the first half. Make that 7.
Just at the moment, the Wanderers can't hold the ball. They are just giving possession away way too easily. And I think they're trying to attack down through one channel each time. They get the ball down the right, they attack down the right. So there's not enough lateral play in the way they're passing the ball. So, and that's and to me that's a bit of a surprise, because you've got a guy like Rolly Bonavacia who loves to just spray the ball from side to side. Likewise, Johan. But when the ball goes wide, they're going down one channel and giving it away. The Phoenix are just coming across, and it's too easy for them defensively. So until the Wanderers sort that out, they're not really going to be a threat in front of goal.
Fenton draws the foul from Rolly Bonavacia. Just a grab on the shirt there by the former Phoenix player. Fenton again with an attacking brief. Krishna spotted Kakachi, just the toe to it from Duke. Krishna. Again, Fenton is the ever-present option. Burgess tried a cute little pass to Krishna. Into the final minute, we're told there'll be a minimum of 3 added at the end of this first half. Phoenix well in control of this one. Mandy. Krishna looked to drop it off for Williams.
I think the other problem for the Wanderers as well is, I think the wide players, Lorente and Kamau now, Tate Russell had the same issue. They're not really sure who to pick up. So with the Phoenix play, with David Williams, Roy Krishna, they go wide, and they just stand between the centre-back, say Elrich and Kamau. And so then Kakache's on the wing. And so Kamau's sitting there going, do I pick up David Williams? Do I pick up Liberato Kakache? So he's caught in two minds there. And the Phoenix are doing very well to stretch them at the back. And what that's creating is problems in the middle of the park for the Wanderers, as you know, the defensive players don't know who to pick up exactly. And then the midfielders get that yard of space they need to create stuff.
Kakache from Williams. Kamau trying to hold his progress and does so efficiently at the expense of a corner. Into the extra 3 minutes at the end of this first half.
Piney, you'd know this. How often has a side scored 4 goals in the first half of consecutive A-League games?
Well, without knowing the actual number, I can pretty much confirm the Phoenix have never done it. Of course, they scored an added time in Gosford, didn't they, to make it 4? Can they repeat the dose here? Crowded 6-yard box for Mandy to aim at. Burgess takes a touch, gets a little bit lucky. Pinball in the penalty area, and a little overhead kick there by Roy Krishna. A wry smile and a rub of the chin from Mark Rudan as he looks for a replay to see what exactly happened. Here it is.
You wouldn't put it past Roy Krishna to put this one away. Hit it with the wrong foot. He's loving his football, and why wouldn't you be? In the goal scoring form that he's in at the moment, Roy Krishna.
Yeah, the golden boot race has become quite tight. Krishna up to 15 now, Lafondra 14. Andy Keogh's goal the other night took him to 13. Costa Barbarousas with a brace last night, also on 13. So there's 4 pretty high quality strikers there, all looking for the golden boot. Great from a New Zealand point of view to see Costa Barbarousas enjoying a productive season and enjoying his football over in Melbourne.
It'd be nice if the All Whites played while he's in that good vein of form.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been so long.
Flag up on this near side for offside, halts that move in its tracks. Final few seconds of the first half to be played out. Referee calls first half proceedings to an end. Goals from Krishna, from Mandy and from Williams have the Wellington Phoenix in a very strong position as we go to the break here at Westpac Stadium. Half-time in Wellington, the Phoenix 3, Western Sydney Wanderers 0.
season, including funding his own trip to Eden Park to help out there as well. Reece not only helps out game days, he's actually involved at community events at Chicken. Thank you, Reece, for all your assistance. It's greatly appreciated. And we look forward to working with you in the seasons to come. Record and watch on Sky. You can relive the Wellington Phoenix creating history and enter the competition advertised. We're going to the draws for a trip for the Night A-League Grand Final. And make sure you show us your next fan moments. Take your photo to your Instagram account at Wellington Phoenix. Use that hashtag next fan moment. You feature in our weekly montage. And the holiday program is coming up as well. If you want to get involved in that, that is 15th to the 16th of April, Wellington College. Great chance for you to hang out with some of the Wellington Phoenix Academy players as well. Rub shoulders with them. To register, go to wellingtonphoenix.com.
Well, welcome back to Westpac Stadium, where it is the Phoenix going into the halftime break. 3 goals up. Yes, 3 goals up against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Sarah, it's been a clinical display from the Phoenix, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's the dream start as well. I think Krishna pouncing on that mistake and driving forward and, you know, finishing really clinically. It's a great finish from a difficult angle, but just the start that they wanted, and they've kicked on another couple of goals squared away. Brilliant stuff.
Raph, I've written 3 things down, to talk to you about in this halftime chat: precision, clinical, and energy.
Yeah, look, I think the Phoenix has got all those 3 things. I think for me, the key point is, like, I've been watching Marcus Bevel, his coaches, so he adopts almost the formation of the opposition. So he's done that today with the 3 at the back, 4 across the middle and 3 up front. And if you adopt the same playing style as the opposition, you need to dominate possession. But the players in midfield for the Phoenix have had that in abundance of energy and precision, and been really, really hungry. And that's dominated them. That's enabled them to really push forward, and 3-0 up. It's a great start.
Well, let's have a look at the first half highlights. And sorry to say, if you're a Wanderers fan, it's all been the Phoenix, hasn't it? And Sarah, he still had a lot of work to do here, didn't he, Roy Krishna?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was kind of, from this vantage point, wondering if he was going to square it to someone running through, but to take it on his own and really bend it into the far corner, that's a great finish.
Yeah, Raph, I mean, this is his 15th goal of the season. He just goes from better to better, doesn't he, Krishna?
Oh, no, look, fantastic. And the confidence he's showing there, oozing. He gets, obviously, latched it onto a loose ball. And then the delightful finish, you can't do better than that.
Now, I know, Sarah, this was a questionable free kick, wasn't it? Or a challenge on Alex Rufer, but you can't do anything about that, can you, Rick Janjetovic?
Yeah, and the same thing, I was wondering if Burgess was going to put it in the same spot on his left foot, but Mandy stood up to the plate, and what a goal, what a finish.
Well, Bumyohone come on, and he had a bit of an immediate influence. Lorente here throwing this one across the bar, but they were those sort of chances, or half chances even, for the Wanderers, were few and far between.
And this is a lovely bit of play here, we must say, by the Phoenix, and David Williams, who seems to find himself in that position time and time again, able to bend the ball far post, delightful, and it just made deja vu for him.
Oh, Sarah, I think the way he's finished this was absolutely sensational. I mean, we've seen 3 fantastic goals here from the Phoenix tonight, but the way he just used the angle of his strike just inside the post there of Janjetovic, and we see the halftime stats here. Possession, well, we see the Phoenix dominate passes, and we'll look at that later on, but duel was won as well. It's been quite an even game there. Shots on goal, the Phoenix are well ahead in that. And if you look at the passes there, you know, relatively even, but the accuracy in which, the precision we talked about before, and the way the Phoenix are moving the ball quite quickly, they're really overrunning the Western Sydney Wanderers in the middle of the park.
Yeah, like you say, it's all about accuracy of the passing, and the balls into the penalty area. I think that's critical. You're not going to score goals if you're not playing those penetrating passes, and they've done that really well, the Phoenix.
Well, one player, Ref, we talked about earlier on, had a great game last week against the Central Coast Mariners, was the influence of Max Burgess. The first 45 minutes, I think the guys, both Piney and Fred touched on it in their first half, was he's just so busy. His energy, he's looking for the ball. I mean, after about 10 or 15 minutes, he had about 6 or 7 touches, all good touches as well.
Yeah, I think the key for me, Harry, has been he's been comfortable. You know, he's looking like a player that's played 4 or 5 seasons in this league. He's gone out there, he's filled in a role that he's not been accustomed to of late, but he's been comfortable on the ball. He's linked up with the front two. He's been a lot of energy, and he puts a lot of pressure on the opponents as well, which is, you can't ask more from a number 10.
And he's got inside the box, hasn't he, Sarah, a couple of times there trying to get the ball onto his left foot, but he's doing his defensive duties. He's been tackling back, he's been organising, but he's also been providing that outlet up front as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the speed in which he goes forward and tries to join in the play, we've seen him kind of break beyond Krishna and Williams at times as well. So he's been really great. Like, I think the energy and like Raf said, he just seems so comfortable out there, like he's sort of been there all along. And I think he had big shoes to fill with Sarpreet Singh sort of being suspended for the week, but man, he's done a job.
Well, also looking to do a job in the second half of the Western Sydney Wanderers has been Raul Lorente. I mean, Rafi, we saw that chance he had in the first half, but what can you take if you're a Western Sydney Wanderers player, particularly in the middle of the park? They've made a change earlier on, but he's been quite effective, hasn't he, up and down that left-hand side? Yeah,
look, he's got forward, and he has delivered and looked dangerous. And we've got to be honest, that was a fantastic save by Curto here. Lorente picks up the rebound, as we see, but the one-handed diving save by Curto, really, at that point in the game, that could have been 2-1. The game turns in that moment. So hats off to Curto and Go, who's been outstanding this season, and a game for the Phoenix keeps them in 3-0. That's thanks to that save.
I mean, Marcus Babel made a change, you know, midway through that first half, Sarah. We had to see a reaction, didn't we? 3-0 down, I mean, he had to make a change somewhere. Yeah,
and what a guy to bring on, Baumjohann. Fred and Piney touched on his experience over in Germany and his time in the big teams and the big leagues. So if you've got a guy on the bench that you want to turn to, you're doing pretty well if you've got him. But I think just so much has to change for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They've really been behind the 8 ball in almost every aspect of the game.
From a coaching perspective, I mean, we touched on it in the first half, the reaction and the energy from someone like Mark Rudan. He was like Jurgen Klopp there for a time, you know. He was up and down, he was throwing his fists around, he was clapping his hands. I could actually hear what he was saying, you know. Relentless, we got to get more ruthlessness. I mean, the similar sort of attitude to last week you saw in Central Coast. I mean, they're just continuing that this weekend.
And I think that transcends onto the park. When you've got someone who's really pushing you from the sideline like Mark Rudan does with the side, that pays dividends. I think the key factor for me, if you look at the engine room for the Phoenix, if you look at Mandy and Rufa compared to Galifuoco and Mahazi, the energy that those two players in terms of Rufa and Mandy on the ball, their passing, their influence they're having, is really dominating this game.
Oh, coming up tonight after this game, we've actually got the Sydney Derby, or sorry, the Sydney FC against Melbourne City coming up after this, but also the competition as well. Texan 360 to be in a chance to win that game day prize, signed Phoenix shirt, but also 2 tickets to the A-League Grand Final. Right, stick with us. Coming right after this, we'll have all the second half action. It's the Western Sydney Wanderers with all the work to do in the second half. Wellington Phoenix are up 3-0.
The ISPS Hunter Premiership has reached the semi-finals of the competition with just the 4 teams remaining in contention to lift the trophy March 31. Reigning champions Auckland City go into the elimination process as hot favourites on the back of an unbeaten regular season. However, it's crosstown rivals Eastern Suburbs that are attracting a lot of attention with the dynamic duo of Callum McCoward and Andre de Jong scoring at will. Not to be overlooked are Oceania champions Team Wellington, who have made the grand final for the last 3 consecutive years and need a win this weekend to have any shot at Champions League football again. Whilst Dark Horse Canterbury can beat any team on their day and are desperate to be the first southern side to capture the trophy. It's double-header drama in the Premiership this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Welcome back to Western Sydney Wanderers. And of course, your Wellington Phoenix.
Well, there are plenty of Spaniards who can bend to football. Add Mandy to that list. Up and over. Veteran Janjetovic. Completely flummoxed by that one. The crowd here enjoying it. There's Paul Eiffel. He put the odd ball into the back of the net on this patch of grass in his time. He would have enjoyed that, I'm sure, as did most of the crowd here as we get ready for the second half. Plenty of work to do for the Western Sydney Wanderers as they now attack the goal to our left in their all-white strip. The Wellington Phoenix heading back down towards their yellow feeder faithful at the southern end. As was the case last week, I'm sure Mark Rudan will want more from his team in the second half. Word has it that when they went in at half-time 4-0 up in Gosford a week ago, he said to them, don't you dare come in here at 4-0 at full-time. He wanted more. They let a couple in, but scoring 8, something the Phoenix had never done. So they certainly won't be satisfied to sit back on a 3-0 lead for the Wanderers. All they can do is try and get a foothold back in the match. They do have the players. Bonavazia, Baum-Johann, Kamau, Riera, all capable. Here's Kakachi, though. Durante and Riera in a bit of a loving embrace. Durante adjudged to have committed the foul. The Wanderers' goalless first half was actually the first time they haven't scored in the first half against Wellington for 10 games. To give their fans hope, though, they've scored in each of their last 11.
Just looking at the way they've set up in the second half, the Wanderers, doesn't seem like a whole lot's changed. I was expecting, maybe Mahazi, Galifuoko to push forward and really get touch tight on Alex Rufa and Mandy, because they have to start controlling that centre of the park. But it just looks like they're going to, play that screening role in front of the back four. And what that does, it allows the Phoenix that time in the middle of the field. Here's Baum-Johann, can he
keep this one in. Near post is Riera. Baum-Johan. Philip Curto hasn't had a lot to do between the sticks for Wellington. We're registering just the one shot on target from Western Sydney in the first half. I'll have another chance to swing in a set piece now with another corner earned by Mitch Duke. A goal now would make it interesting. Players gathered at the near post waiting for Bonavacia's delivery. But a penalty area pinball. Mandy gets it away. Backheel by Williams. He's caught on the way, and then Mandy runs into about 4 or 5 guys in white shirts. Williams has stayed down as he got that one away. I think he was caught. He seems to be okay, back on his feet, David Williams.
But even there, the Phoenix are first to the second phase ball. Baum-Johan laid the ball back across towards the edge of the penalty area. And it was a Phoenix player that just works really hard that instance to get to the ball. And straight away, they're thinking about the counter-attack. Interested to see if Babel changes the formation if it stays like this for the first part of the second half. I think there might be some merit for the Wanderers to go to just go straight 4-4-2, because they're having trouble containing the wide guys for the Phoenix. You put Bonavacia on one side, Duke on the other, and then have Baum-Johan and Riera up the top, occupying the Phoenix's back three.
Well, we're approaching the 50-minute mark, and we're about to see a show of solidarity from Yellow Fever for what happened in Christchurch on Friday. That's Yellow Fever's rendition of the popular Māori song Tūtara Mai Ngā Iwi. The English translation: line up together, people, all of us. Stand in rows, people, all of us. Seek after knowledge and love of others, everybody. Call ourselves one people and stay united, all of us, all of us. A pretty fitting set of lyrics considering the events of the past 72 hours. Yellow card brandished against Alex Rufer. That's a 9th of the season now for Alex Rufer. Doesn't mind a yellow card, does he?
Yeah, taking on the role of enforcer in the midfield for the Phoenix. And just chalking up the requisite number of yellow cards for that position.
The next mark for a one-game ban is 11. I can't ever remember anybody getting 11 yellow cards in a season. It might have happened, but that's 9 now for Rufus, so he's got until round 27 to avoid picking up 11. They get wiped, of course, at the end of the regular season as we head into the finals. If the Phoenix continue playing the way they are, it's looking likely they'll return to the finals for the first time since 2014-15. Bird just looking to get involved. Has his heels clipped, does he? Might have. Yeah, referee's come back after looking to play an advantage.
You talk about the finals, Heine. I think if they win this game, you could almost chalk in the Phoenix in one of those positions, 4 to 6 in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, a win tonight would take them to 34 points. They'd be 3 ahead of Adelaide United, having played the same number of games. Melbourne City have the chance to go from 30 to 33 tonight if they can beat Sydney FC. That game will go ahead, we're told. There was doubt about it earlier on in the afternoon with heavy rain and a possibility the pitch might not be up to it at Leichhardt, but we're hearing that it will go ahead. The Newcastle Jets had their hopes dented last night with that loss to the Central Coast Mariners. They remain on 26 points.
And there's just too much ground to make up, especially for the Wanderers. A loss here will that'll be their hopes put paid to their hopes. I think Newcastle had just a massive dent put in their chances last evening. So I think the top 6 pretty much set. And for the Phoenix, then it's looking for that 4th spot.
So here's your live ladder as things stand. If this game was to finish now, that's what the table would look like. You can see the Wellington Phoenix, maybe a too big a task to catch the victory, but certainly 4th spot would be theirs to lose. Next for the Wellington Phoenix, after next weekend's international break, the Newcastle Jets come to Wellington Saturday, March the 30th. Bonavacia looking to free up Mitch Duke. He's found him well. Llorente and Riera there, but Duke goes all alone. Just not quite happening for Mitchell Duke tonight.
Yeah, well, they hit a screamer last week, albeit the keeper probably should have saved it, Jamie Young. But that time I think he's thought, well, I'll try my luck from outside the box again. Didn't latch onto it. Much more comfortable position for Mitch Duke, playing wide on the right, or wider on the right, than where we saw him occupying in the first 45 minutes.
Wellington Phoenix subs are warming up at the southern end of Westpac Stadium, off to our right. Chance perhaps for Mark Rudan to give more A-League minutes to the likes of Callan Elliott or Gianni Stensonis. There's Galifuoko climbing over the top of Alex Rufer. Foul by Kopczynski on Bonavacia. Game's gone a bit flat. Let's go sideline to Harry Nada. It's, I guess, a little bit difficult for Wellington when they're 3-0 ahead. It's Harry, they don't really have to chase the game, do they?
No, you're right there, Piney, but there's been a bit of movement with Killian Sheridan. He's just popped off to the right-hand side again to continue a warm-up. Didn't look like he was coming across to get himself ready to get on, but no, you're right. It's the Phoenix's to lose at this moment. Western Sydney really don't have any answers at the moment to really try and get one back and put the Phoenix under some pressure.
Well, that thought, Harry. Here's Johan. Got away from Durante. Kopczynski in the way behind for a corner. They need something soon, Western Sydney, otherwise time's going to be their enemy.
Lovely move this by Johan. Gets the better of Andrew Durante, who just got a little bit too tight on it. But again, you see the defensive cover. It gets across so quickly. Golick was taking the near post. Kopczynski comes to the ball. And I've got to say, the set plays this evening have left a lot to be desired. I think that's from, other than the Mandy one, I think that's from both sides, especially the corners.
Yeah, Bonavacia not able to beat Roy Krishna at the near post. They'll stay camped down in enemy territory, though, the Wanderers. Llorente. Johan looking to get involved. quick feet. Elrich brings Hamlin, who I'm not sure was expecting that pass. Did well to distribute it. Kamau, far too big from Bruce Kamau. That really is disappointing delivery from such an experienced A-League player as Bruce Kamau. Mahazi over the top of Williams that time. No Stephen Taylor for Wellington Phoenix tonight. He has been up in the media area. Told us at half-time that he was only a week away, so that's good news for Wellington Phoenix fans. Players going down in close proximity to the referee. Decides to let play on. Mitch Duke with it. Kamau joining the party on the far side. Just doesn't seem to be coming together in any sort of cohesive fashion for Western Sydney in the attacking third.
There's no movement. That time there's no, Bruce Kamau's running across the box looking for an option. And this is the collision. Makes through for getting upended. But there's just...
Williams does well to use his body and get away from a defender. Here's Krishna. Good block by Elrich. The ball's not going to go out, so it's still alive with Fenton. Rufer there in support. In fact, Burgess wants to get it onto that left foot. Does Max Burgess? Too much elevation as he set his sights on a first A-League goal.
Krishna coming late to the party. Gets his shot blocked, and then Max Burgess, as we saw in a couple of instances in the first half, is inside the box. This time he was just outside the penalty area and looking to get the ball on that left foot to rifle a shot away.
Good strength from Rolly Bonavacia. Duke slipped initially but regained his feet. Once again looking for any sort of movement ahead of him. I'm not finding anything to his liking. I'll recycle out towards the left. Llorente. Rolly Bonavacia again. He's having trouble retaining his feet and then curls one goalwards. Curto saw it coming from a long way out. Last time Phoenix played in Wellington, you'll remember Philip Curto was Herculean. He almost single-handedly earned the Phoenix a 1-0 win over Melbourne City that night with a string of saves. Save percentage of 75% this season for Curto. No wonder the club's so keen to take up the second option, second year of his 2-year contract. Take the option up. Phoenix capitalise again on some sloppy play from the Wanderers. Williams just a bit out of range for Max Burgess, but he does well to retain the ball. He's climbed all over by Bonavacia, and referee Alex King decides that no advantage has accrued. Wellington will have a free kick.
See Bonavacia just on the wrong side of Burgess and using the shirt as a bit of leverage to affect the tackle. Referee was going to allow play to continue, but I think the Phoenix are going to have to play backwards to go forward, so decided to give them the free kick. Some of the Wanderers players were remonstrating, saying that a similar instance in their favour happened further down the park, but this one Mandy's a bit too far out for a shot, so he's left it for Burgess.
Into a crowded penalty area. There's the shot over from Kakachi. Well, that would have been a spectacular way to make it 2 in 2 weeks from Libby Kakachi. He probably couldn't believe how much time and space he had, rifling the volley over.
Well, no one goes with him. I think Bonavacia lets him go. Hamill's in there as well. But, I mean, how can you give an attacker that much space in the penalty area off a set play? That's just, I mean, that's just lack of application. And there's still half an hour to go in the game.
Marcus Babbel is going to make a second change. Fellas, with Kwame Yeboah getting ready to come on.
Thanks, Harry. Another attacking player at the disposal of Marcus Babbel. I believe it's going to be Bonavacia who makes way. Burgess in a cul-de-sac. It earns a throw. Mandy goes down, no problem with that, says the referee. Bonavacia with what could be his last action. Riera up with him, Duke on the far side. Look at the Phoenix back in numbers. Everybody just about behind the ball now.
Well, that's been a hallmark of their play all season. That's something that Rudin instilled in them very early in the piece. Remember in the first 3 games, well, sorry, in the first few games, when they went on that losing streak, they were sitting way back defensively, and then they just switched, and it's been much more of a transition type of game that they play. But absolutely, this has been a hallmark where they flood back in numbers and make it so difficult for opposition teams to play through them.
So the crowd that used to cheer his every move here in Wellington give Rolly Bonavacia a bit of a send-off. Tried hard tonight, didn't quite come together for him. Kwame Yeboah will get the final 25 minutes or so to try and make an impact. Still no movement on the Wellington Phoenix bench. Duke shrugs off the attentions of Golick. Durante gets it away. Here's Elrich. Mitchell Duke again. Mandy is over there. And does a pretty good job of getting it away, all things considered. Good hold-up play by Williams. Kamau steps in. He's fouled by Williams. Free kick to the Wanderers. There's Stephen Taylor alongside our camera crew. A week away from returning, he says. What have the Wanderers got? A goal now would give them hope. Swung in into a crowded penalty area. Kamau goes down on the edge of the area. Referee right there. Free kick right on the edge. Well, Kamau fell inside the penalty area. Just for a moment it looked as though the foul had been committed inside as well, but referee Alex King was in very good position. The VAR are just having a check to make sure that in fact it was outside and not inside.
Great free kick, and Kopczynski does really well. See Max Burgess there with his hand on the chest of Kamau, pushing him. I think the referee's got this right. There's Kamau here outside the penalty area. The initial contact, I think, is outside, and so I think the VAR will uphold the decision. You can see there the push.
Nick Waldron is our video assistant referee. He's checking it out and has decided no changes needed to the original decision, but this is in a spectacularly good position for the Western Sydney Wanderers, and for that man, Alexander Baumjohann. Right in the middle of the penalty arc. Pretty much the whole goal to aim at. We're being told there's no decision yet. And we're just waiting. They're looking as though it's going to be a free kick, though. They're lining up for it. Referee seems to think we're playing on.
You stay there.
The referee is still waiting, and he's going to go and have a look. Well, you would have to suggest that if he's been told to have a look at it, that we're going to have a penalty here.
I'll reverse my decision.
I can't imagine that this will be a reversal of a decision. It could only be that it's a penalty rather than a free kick, and that the foul is inside rather than outside the penalty area.
Well, if you look at it, that's for me, that's outside, and you know, the initial contact there, it's whether it's after that first touch by Bruce Kamau. So he gets the ball here, touches it, and now if that's deemed the penalty, then that is right on the line, and for me it's, you know, either or. You can go either way.
There's the contact there, which happens outside. The VAR can't judge on whether it's a free kick or not a free kick. That's not inside his brief. He can only be telling referee Alex King that he thinks it's worth a look to see whether it's a penalty or not. Let's see.
See, for me, if I'm the ref, I'd stick with my decision. He was in a great position.
He's overturned it on the advice of the VAR. The free kick becomes a penalty. It's been adjudged that that foul was inside the penalty area, not outside. The official word is that the hold began outside the penalty area, continued inside, and therefore the penalty is given. Andrew Durante looking for some sort of clarification. I'm not sure, Fred, I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, for me, the referee's in a great spot there, sees the contact, makes his call based on that what he sees, and then yeah, I think you've got to be shown something that's very, very wrong to change your mind. And for me, that's I thought he got it right first time, but yeah, that's the VAR.
So Baumjohann, who was lining up a free kick, now has, on the face of it anyway, a much simpler task. Just Curto to beat rather than a 10-man wall.
Take the wall away, move the ball forward a bit.
Baumjohann against Curto. The crowd will tell you. Alexander Baumjohann has sprayed it wide to the delight of Philip Curto.
Well, I think any hope the Wanderers had have slid away just like this ball slides past the post.
Just a bit of clarification from our directors. We're being told that the key part is where the hold finished, and according to the referees, Max Burgess was still holding the opposition player inside the penalty area. It's a moot point now because the penalty's been missed, but in terms of clarification, that's why the decision was made to overturn from a free kick to a penalty.
So why is it then, Piney, in certain situations you have contact outside the box that starts outside the box, and so it's a free kick outside the box?
All I can imagine, Fred, is that the holding continued beyond the white line. That's the only thing I can think of. It wasn't like a foul where the foul is like just one point of contact. Continuous contact, I think, is what we're talking about here. That's I think, what the referees have decided. Anyway, as I say, moot point. Wanderers looking for a way back. They had one through the penalty, didn't take it. Don't take this one either. Riera heads over.
Bam Johan looking for Riera. He's been their most potent goal scorer in recent times. Oriol Riera has taken a bit of stick because he went through a very barren patch through the middle part of the season. Has come good recently, but this evening really hasn't had the service that he really needs to, to put the ball in the back of the net.
Not too many clean sheets for Wellington this season. They're in line for another one here. They'd love another goal, I'm sure. Kakachi getting away from Duke. And earning Wellington a corner. Wellington's biggest ever winning margin against Western Sydney is 3 goals. That was the 5-2 win back in the 2013-14 season when Blake Powell scored 4 times. So another goal here would be a record margin for Wellington over Western Sydney. Burgess looking for Mandy. Gorente should be able to run that one out. Mandy thinks he got a poke in the eye. Or maybe a bang on the snoz. Ironic chance of VAR go up among the yellow fever.
So Mandy doesn't endear himself to sections of the crowd with some of the histrionics when he gets touched around the facial area. I suppose that's a cultural difference.
Into the final quarter hour in Wellington. Burgess looking for Kakachi, who does eventually get there. Still no sign of a substitution of any sort for Wellington. Here's Burgess. Can he free Krishna up? He tries to slide him in. Elrich was aware of what was going on. Kakachi takes it off Duke. Burgess busy again. Now Fenton. Williams, neat play to bring Louis Fenton in. We'll try and go round Llorente. He goes down rather easily. No foul there. There's Yeboah looking to make an impact. Flies into Kwame Yeboah. But some of the passing from Western Sydney will not be to the great content of Marcus Babbel, I'm sure.
Yeah, the quality of the passing has been really poor.
Fenton does well to get a toe to that one. Burgess looks to bring Kakachi in again. Williams. Johan does well. He's fouled surely over there, as he knows, says the referee. Kopczynski. Phoenix probing for an opening. It's taken a skim off a Wanderers player, so Hamill has to rescue it from going behind.
Yeah, not a lot of tempo in the game anymore. I think the Wanderers know that they're not going to get any points out of this. And the Phoenix are just managing the game through to its conclusion. Happy to keep the ball in this area of the field. Don't allow Sydney Siders to get further up the park. You can see there almost 90% of the play has been in the Wanderers' half of the field in recent times. So
well, what looked to be a good tackle by Durante. He believes firmly that he got the ball. Instead, he's going to get a yellow card for a tackle from behind.
Yeah, Yeboah just trying to burst through the gap. Knocks the ball past Durante and then gets clipped, Seipani, from behind. And now we get a VAR check here. But I think the cover defence was well in position to come across. You can see Kopczynski right there, so, you know, if Durante hadn't made the tackle, I'm sure Kopczynski would have been in a position to make a tackle. Although if it's deemed he wasn't, red card Durante.
That's it. They're checking to see whether it's the denying of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and if indeed that is the decision, then the yellow becomes a red for Durante. That's the only thing they can check. Durante didn't even think it was a foul.
Imagine you go from not even a foul to red.
Decision upheld. Yellow card it is. Free kick for Western Sydney. Shirts are off in the yellow fever zone. Johan into the wall, and again Durante leading the charge upfield. Leaves it for Kakachi though, and the youngster sprints away from Kamau. Tries a little nutmeg, but Kamau's done well to get back.
Phoenix are going to make a change, guys. Killian Sheridan. All played the last 10-11 minutes. Coming off will be David Williams.
Cheers, Harry. So Killian Sheridan still looking for that first elusive A-League goal. Might be quite apt if he got it on St Patrick's Day, the Irishman. Hamill. Nice ball to Yeboah, who's onside. Vital intervention from Durante. Now Bruce Kamau with the shot. Kakachi in the way. And Hamill puts that one into touch. Pretty solid Sunday evening crowd in Wellington. Just a tick over 7,500. Change coming now with David Williams, another goal tonight, another very, very good performance from him. Makes way for Killian Sheridan to enjoy the last 8 minutes plus stoppages. He'll be pretty content, I would imagine, David Williams, with a Another good night's work. Gets a smile from Mark Rudan, which is often hard to prize out during a game. Some pretty happy Yellow Fever members up there. So 3-0 at half-time, no further scoring so far in the second half. As you mentioned, Fred, there's been various levels of tempo at different stages in the second half. Wellington didn't really need to chase the game. I'm sure they would have liked more goals, but it's the Wanderers who had to take the initiative and haven't been able to, just for a combination of some sloppy passing, lack of cohesion in the front third, and some good Wellington Phoenix defending at times too.
Exactly, and I mean the Achilles heel for the Wanderers this evening has been the quality of their passing. They haven't been able to maintain possession for long periods, especially in the Phoenix half of the pitch. And so if you give the ball away too cheaply, then the frustration levels rise. Players stop putting in the effort because they just feel like you're running for lost causes all evening.
Here's Sheridan's first involvement, tries to free up Krishna, as he has on a couple of occasions previously. Rolly Bonavacia can only watch from the bench. Scoring goals hasn't been Western Sydney's problem this season. They've scored more than teams above them like Newcastle, Melbourne City and Adelaide United. They had the same number as Wellington before this game. It's been letting them in, which has been a bit of an issue. 46 they've leaked now in 22 outings. So more than 2 per game.
Yeah, they're in the same camp as the Roar and Central Coast Mariners in that regard, aren't they? In the Roar over 50, same with the Mariners, 56 or so, 58. So you can't win football games if you're conceding that many goals. And we've seen the Phoenix been in that position in recent seasons as well, conceding over 50 goals, and that's made life very, very difficult.
Balmiohan with a ball for Riera, who gallops after it. Looking for Duke. It's a goal for Western Sydney. Good ball in from Oriol Riera. Mitch Duke met it and directed it past Philip Curto, who couldn't even fashion a dive. Is it too little too late for Western Sydney? At least they've got on the board tonight in Wellington.
Well, this was set up with a lovely ball from Balmiohan. Riera got on the end of it. Mitchell Duke started his run from the top of the penalty area, cut inside his defender. The cross was a very, very good one, and that glancing header inside the far post. Are we in for some of the heroics which we saw last evening between Newcastle and Central Coast Mariners? Somehow, I don't think so.
It doesn't seem as likely, does it, Fred? But
certainly not, I think.
goals in consecutive games for Mitch Duke. 3 for the season now. Wellington are going to make a change with Gianni Stensonis to get another run out in place of Mandi. So the academy product, Gianni Stensonis, who debuted last week in Gosford, is going to get his first minutes on home soil. Mandi, another goal scorer, makes his way off on the far side. Burgess draws the foul from Mahazi. They won't be in any hurry now, Wellington. They'll soak a few more seconds up. 3 minutes plus stoppages. Janjetovic with very little to do in the second half compared to the first, really. In fact, we've only got 3 shots on target for Wellington in the whole game, and I guess those have been the goals, Fred. Here's Burgess. Sheridan is there. Hamill's going to bring it away.
Yeah, that sort of stat will improve your conversion percentages. 3 out of 3.
Roy Krishna picks up a late yellow card. 5 for the season now for Roy Krishna, but as I mentioned before, it won't matter in terms of a suspension. Wellington now just trying to manage this game to its conclusion. Next game for Western Sydney is in a fortnight. They host Melbourne City at ANZ Stadium at Homebush on the night of Saturday, March the 30th. As you say, Fred, it would seem to be too big a gap now to make up for Western Sydney. They'll stay on 20 points. Even if Melbourne City don't get any tonight, they'll still be 10 points back with only 5 games to play. It's too big a chasm, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, if you think about the points that they have to get to what's going to qualify for the top 6, it's just too many now. They'll need, I think, minimum 16. And with only 5 games to go, that's impossible. So I think for Marcus Babbel and the West Sydney Wanderers club, it's time to start thinking about the 2019-2020 season. And so you might start to see a number of the youngsters, as we've seen with the Mariners side and to some extent with the Brisbane Roar side as well. As soon as the playoff hopes are gone, then they start looking at the youngsters for which players can feature for next season and which players maybe find A-League just that little step too high.
A couple of youngsters on the bench tonight who could have debuted. Doesn't look like they'll get the chance now. Daniel Willemering, Andrea Agamem Nonos also there. Doesn't look as though either of those two is going to get a run, as we are told there'll be 5 extra minutes, or a minimum of, added at the end of this one. But that'll be around that VAR decision, which seemed to take 2 or 3 minutes to clarify. Baum Johan. Mahazi looking for Kamau. Phoenix fans in fine voice as they look to help their team see this one out.
You see there's still the energy that Max Burgess brings to this front 3. As Roy Krishna picks the pocket and away they go.
He's got the pace. We seem to have the pace, Roy Krishna. Galifuoko stretching every sinew to put that one out.
Yeah, I think that, like, going back to Max Burgess, you know, he's worked incredibly hard this evening. He's done a good job of just dropping out of that forward line, playing in that pocket of space between the midfield 2 and the defensive line, getting on the ball at every opportunity. I think the one thing that, well, the next step for him is his effectiveness. You know, he's done really well on the ball, passing and that, and now either assists or obviously goals is what he'll be looking for. So yeah, just a bit of an altercation. Sheridan wins the ball there, and now Lorente goes down. And holding his face. You can see here just the Roy Krishna's arm swings backwards and catches Lorente. VAR having a look at it. Roy Krishna already on a yellow, so he's off.
Well, that's a fly in the ointment for Wellington Phoenix. Roy Krishna sent off. He wants to know why. It's a second yellow. And Roy Krishna sent off in the dying minutes of this one. I'm not quite sure why Llorente's getting involved, although you can see blood coming from his mouth. Let's have a look.
You can see there, like, Roy Krishna's just getting his body in position. You see that all the time. Llorente's put his head, he's all over the back of Roy Krishna. Roy Krishna puts his arms up just to support himself and picks up a second yellow card. So he will be missing for the game against Newcastle.
Well, it's an unfortunate end to the game for Wellington with Roy Krishna, as you say, Fred, now earning a one-game ban. I can't see it being overturned. Second yellow.
Well, the Phoenix were going to make a change. The fellas with Kelly Elliott got himself stripped off, but he's putting his jumper back on. Looks like Shane Lowry, after that decision, Ryan Lowry, sorry, after that decision, Roy Krishna had some extra defensive stocks there.
Fenton looking to free up Killian Sheridan. He's a bit of a lone ranger at the moment, the Irishman. Stensonis. Rufer is encouraged to shoot. Burgess. Burgess shoots. Rufer wanted it in the penalty arc. Max Burgess wanted to take the shot on himself. So Lowry will be into the action for Max Burgess. Daniel Wilmering has also made his way on for an A-League debut, just picking up who he has replaced. Llorente is the man who has come off for Daniel Wilmering. We're well past the added 5 minutes, but there'll be a few more now for substitutions and red cards, etc. Wellington will just want the game to end. Here's Riera with the shot, still not cleared by Wellington. Now they get it away. Galifuoco with the shot through some bodies. Into the 7th added minute. Check of the watch from Alex King, but still time to play, he says. Kamau gets it in. Wilmering can't keep that one in. And that'll be it in Wellington. Workmanlike from Wellington. They won it in the first half with goals to Krishna, Mandi and Williams. A consolation laid on from Mitch Duke for the Wanderers. A late red card to Roy Krishna, souring things somewhat for Wellington, but they consolidate their place in the A-League's top 4. Full time here. Wellington Phoenix 3, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.